going on, people? Hey, got a bit of a cold today, so don't mind if I sound all bung up and whatever else. Listen, I came across this video, well, I came across this channel a couple of days ago. I've been watching some of the videos, then I came across, what's it called? I came across two videos, one called Black Dating in the UK. Why is it so hard? And what do stats say? The next one is, what type of guys do black women date in the UK? No, what type of guys do black women date in the UK? I started watching one of them, stopped it, started watching the other one and stopped it. Quite interesting stories. I only stopped it because I thought I'll do a reaction to them. I don't really like reacting to videos I've seen already, so I didn't watch the whole video. So thought I'd watch it with you guys because it's an interesting topic, you know what I mean? So let's jump straight into this one.
Apparently, all British black men don't date British black women. That's what online will have you thinking, right? Hey Hans, welcome to my channel. My name is DOGZ, the professional yapper. By
The professional yapper, don't give me a joke.
the title of this video, you know exactly what I'm here to talk about. And I'm sorry if you are sick and tired of this discussion, but I've spoken about this on TikTok and I thought the best way to launch my YouTube channel is to bring...
Oh guys, if you guys are really into all of this kind of stuff what she does at DOGZ, that go check her out.
The discussion here mainly to talk about whether or not British black men date British black women. If you watch this video today,
British black man date British black woman. You see, that's always a weird one for me when people who know me know, like, I don't really like, I don't do or say, I even don't even like saying it, but the whole black woman or white woman, Chinese woman, I date woman. That's, you know what I mean? I just date a woman, put it that way. I don't look into if I was to look at it, I've dated all races, yeah, but I don't. I just like now. I just feel more comfortable now if I'm saying, yeah, I met this woman. You know what I mean? Such and such. Yeah, I like her personality. Yeah, me and her got on. And I would always find it disrespect if someone asked me. I just find it strange. It's not even disrespect. It's just weird when people say, "Oh, what country is she from?" or "What color is she?" I just never understand why that's still a thing that comes up. You know what I mean? I think if you dating someone, you're dating someone. I think a lot of programs like this is what keeps, you know, let's just go, because I haven't really taken her in, so let's just listen to what she's saying. I'll take her.
And can you please like it? Can you please subscribe if you're not subscribed already?
Yeah, I got you.
And if you hear any background noise,
you.
just know that I live in East London and it's very noisy over here.
I've already subscribed to her channel, hit her thumbs up in a few videos because I like her content. I don't agree with everything she says, but hey, not everyone's gonna agree with everything you say. Just like my reaction to this video, 50% of people is not gonna, you know what I mean, and 50% of people probably will. So it's just the way of the world.
So I'm sorry for that. Now, I'm going to caveat this whole video by saying that there is absolutely no way I can sit here and tell you exactly what every single black British man and every single black British woman does. I can only share my experience. I can only share my opinion, and obviously open the comments and the floor up to anybody else that wants.
Okay, I like how she just covered herself. I like that though. I like that.
To add to what I'm saying, but keep it respectful. Online,
I'll try. Nah, I'm only joking. I'm only.
For the last 2 weeks, we've been talking about this podcast that I'm not going to name, and the mistake that they made when they went on an American podcast and laughed at jokes about black women. The American girls, I love you guys, because you lot jumped on that real quick and said, what we're not going to do is disrespect us in this country. And you know what happened off the back of that? Cancellation. Cancellation doesn't work. That's a conversation for another day, but you know. And since then, it's been 2 weeks. 2 weeks of black women, black men non-black people talking about this podcast. This podcast made it to BBC News.
Swear down. I need to know what podcast that is. If anyone knows what that podcast is, throw it down the bottom. I'd give that a watch.
If you're not from the UK, that's a big deal. Because I've never seen a podcast end up on BBC News because people want to cancel the podcast. I've never seen that before. Now, I'm not going to lie. On my
They must have hit some nerves on that.
TikTok, I threw in a few videos. I spoke about an apology video that this podcast did. I spoke about the American podcast reaction to that apology. And I also spoke about another viral clip that went round. If you want to get a bit more context, you could always go onto my TikTok. But unless you've been living under a rock for the last 2 weeks, you probably know who I'm discussing without saying their name. I was on TikTok the other day and I came across a video from London Hughes. If you don't know who she is a British comedian who has moved to, I believe it's LA, and she's been there for like 4 years now. She has a following on TikTok. She's an amazing comedian. Absolutely love the gal. Go follow her if you're interested. But she gave her perspective on this whole podcast shindig, but she also gave a bit more context from her perspective as to why that podcast reacted that way to the jokes about black women.
Okay, so in Britain, it's hard to explain. Basically, there's a thing called internalized racism, and it's very prevalent with black British men. You'll go around in the UK as a gorgeous, dark-skinned black woman like myself, and 9 times out of 10, the black men
Now, I don't want no one to hate me on this, right? Could this just be some of these women's delusion? Because she just said like a gorgeous black woman like her or something. I'm going to try to rephrase from using the black woman, or, you know what I mean? I hate it. So I'm just going to say, is this a delusion of some of these women? Like she just said, a beautiful woman. I don't think she's beautiful. I would walk past her on the street. I'd give her a 4 or 5 if I were to rate her. Now the present the Dami Zanes, I would give her an 8 or a 9 easily. She looks banging, natural. I think that's her natural hair. You know what I mean? I love a natural woman, so Dami Zayn shouldn't have problem dating in the UK. If she's got problem dating in the UK, that's probably because she's looking for too much. She got her state set too high. Her stake set way too high. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know if she's single or not. But there's no way she looking like that should be single. This one over here on the other hand, I'm not surprised if it's hard for her to find a man because, as she just said, she's beautiful. She's beautiful in her own rights, don't get me wrong. But she just sounds a bit delusional because she thinks she's that and she's not that. So maybe she needs to drop her bar down a bit. You know, drop her bar down a bit. Maybe she's aiming too high. That's why she can't find a guy. And that's just my opinion, people. See what I'm saying? Let me have my opinion.
and there, they don't want to date you. Like, it's like,
Don't want to date you.
I know it happens in America as well, but it it happens so much in the UK to the point where, like, I could just tell by looking at Furhad and James that they don't date black women. I know they've said they date everybody, but that's just code for, you know, I like women, I like racially ambiguous women. It's obvious. And
That's
race
that's too much to go that far.
men like James, 9 times out of 10, I know in America they have the 1 drop rule, whereas if, like, you know, you got a bit of black in you, you're black. We don't have that in Britain. So mixed race is its own genre, and a lot of mixed race men.
Now, Dami Zayn's not in her head, right? She's from London. So I'm from Birmingham, and I know one thing in Birmingham. Even if you're quarter caste or mixed race, most people just say black anyway. You rarely hear the term. Have I actually heard that term in Brum? I probably have heard that term in Brum, say mixed race. You know what I mean? But apart from that, in Birmingham, if you know what I mean, if you ain't white, you're black. That's just the way to see it down here.
They are half black and half white.
The people that I move around anyway. I can't speak for the people I don't move around.
And so sometimes you'll meet them 9 times out of 10 culturally they lean more into the white side than the black. And also to get far in the industry, especially the podcast industry in Britain, again that proximity to whiteness is there. Everyone's white, and like your boss is white, your agent's white, the producer of the podcast is.
Whose fault is that though? Whose fault is that though? Now she's just sounding like a miserable hater. And that's all she's sounding like. The problem is a lot of business in the UK, we don't support our own in the UK. That's one of the main things. In America, they might, you know, like me and my brothers and that, we've started business and whatever else. My brother, you know, restaurants, and we'll see black people walk past the store and go next door. In the UK, black people don't support. If you set up a podcast in the UK, 9 out of 10 black people won't support that anyway. So for her to say it seems like she's saying you need to be in a white circle or have white people close to you for you to achieve something. No, hon. Black people need to stick together more and they can achieve more. The problem is we love to bring down each other. You know, we'll see another black person doing good, the first thing we'll start doing is plotting and hating.
Why he's not around, neither of them men are around black women that like that. Maybe family members. Outside of that, in their workspace, they have probably said things that disparage black women all the time, and it's gone unchecked, which is why you know that, you know, Andrew Schultz said that they didn't remove the comment from the podcast, because literally I don't think they thought there was anything wrong with saying that, because
I want to know what this. I want to know what they said. So do you feel that they were comments made on their apology? Just
they're so used to this.
I don't know if you guys can see that. My screen's a little bit far from me, so I can't really make it out. But I would like to know what comment she's on about. I'm actually gonna look a lot more into this. I didn't realize there was a back story to this video that Dami Zayn done. I thought she was just doing her own video and from her own point of view, and I was just reacting to that. Getting into the video, I realized now, okay, there's a backstory to it.
Respecting black women, because like I said, the proximity to whiteness in the UK is that like white people disrespect black women, black men disrespect black women. Like we're just so used to taking L.
Okay. How about you say women in general disrespect women? Man in general disrespect women, and women in general disrespect men.
Over there,
just keep it real like that.
and that some people don't even realize they're L's, myself included. I've had things happen to me, and it's not until I've told my American friends, and they've been like, they said that, they did what? And I'm like, oh yeah, I guess that was bad. But like, you just,
and don't say they, just he said that, you know, he said that.
So used to
what she's doing is the same thing a lot of women say. Don't brand all women the same because of one bad experience with, you know, a few women.
The disrespect. So no, I don't think they apologized because they got caught. They apologized because it was the right thing to do. But no, as you can see, they've pulled up their old podcast and they've said a lot of crazy things about black women in the past. And again, I need to
see. I maybe need to see this podcast.
That was a big deal because, like I said, black women stay taking L's in the UK. It's very sad.
So,
I think females in general take L's all around the world, and I think this is kind of a trend at the minute, right? I see a lot of women. I'm gonna have to say black woman now, right? I see a lot of black women complain about when they get L's. Yeah, why is it that when you come on the internet you see people moaning about our man doesn't want us and our man's doing this and we're getting L's from our man? Why is it majority of the times, like 99.9% of the times, it's a black woman? You know, you don't see Asian woman on the internet doing that, white woman on the internet doing that. Indian woman on the internet doing that, Chinese woman on the internet doing that. So we have to sit there and ask, why is that? You know what I mean? Why is that then?
There's parts of this video that I agree with. I do agree that when you are working in the industry, you're more surrounded by whiteness. And also, because in the UK, we make up 4% of the population. If you want to make it in the UK, you need to be marketable to more than just the black community. So with that in
I can probably agree. I can probably agree with that one to a certain extent.
mind, that's probably why a lot of the time creators try to align themselves.
And that's, I'm not agreeing with that, and the extent that is because you have to be around white people to be successful. I'm agreeing with that to an extent because majority of the people in this country is white. So
With whiteness a bit
that would be obvious, you know what I mean?
more.
I'm sure if you're in Jamaica, or I'm sure if you're in China, right, you would have to, yeah, surround yourself with more Chinese, you know. If you're in Russia, you're gonna have to surround yourself with more Russian. It's just the way of the world. I don't see the big deal about that.
But this narrative that British black women take BS from British black men in comparison to American women, I'm not sure I can agree with.
I don't agree with that either. I don't agree with that. You can't even.
That. I'm not sure I can agree with that.
No, I don't agree with that either. I don't agree with that either. Listen, my past ex relationships is, yeah, it's not even. I'm not even gonna get into that because, you know, my baby moms might be in the comments watching now. Go do so. I don't want to say nothing, so I just made a video roll.
I think it depends on where you were raised, where you grew up, what
Facts.
your community is like. You cannot go to a South London girl and talk to her anyhow, whether you are black, white, blue or yellow. She's gonna check you.
She's gonna check you. But I'm trying to think of a polite way to say, because I don't want to be rude. What's the polite word they use, or they're using these days? They will check you because they are I would say you know, typical modern woman, right? And I think if you go to, and I think the internet's, because the internet's grown now and people can travel to so many countries. You know, I got a lot of friends that travel to different countries and they come back and they're like shocked, like, yo, it's crazy how the girls are in them countries. I'm like, what you on about? They're like, yo, bro, they make man feel like a man, you know what I mean? Like, just the way they speak to us. And I think sometimes a lot of traditional black women forget that a man like to feel like a man. A man don't want to talk to a woman that's going to be checking him and everything like she's a man. You know, that's why we don't do that Diddy. You know, we don't do that Diddy side. Why? Because we don't want no woman talking to us like a man. You know, if the man them that go the Diddy side, they're probably like arguing with man. I don't want to come home and my woman's checking me like she's a man in certain ways. That to me is off-putting. You know, and I don't think women should be at. Let's run the video anyway, but I don't want to go too much into it like that. I don't want to sound like the bad guy, but I get what she's saying, but then at the same time, a woman shouldn't be checking a man in certain ways. You see what I'm saying? And I know a lot of females will say, oh, a woman should be allowed to check a man. Yeah, but it's the way she's saying it. I know them kind of girls from London. When they check you, you think you're talking to a dude. So I'm just going off where she's from. And the girls down there that she's saying, yeah, don't think you can speak to them in certain ways. No, you can't. Some of them will check you like they're a dude. And like, yo, what, blood? What are you talking to, bruv? You think you're bad, bruv? Nah, bruv, nah. That to me is dead. That ain't no woman. That's a straight man. I don't want that. I don't find that attractive at all.
She's gonna put you in your place.
no woman can't put me in my place. That no
Same.
no woman can put me in my place. No, you know what I mean. And let me rephrase on that, right? It depends on the situation as well. If I come in the house and I'm doing something wrong or I'm out of line, then yeah, she can correct me. And you know what I mean, she can, you know what I'm saying, maybe put me in my place. And that's it. But it's the way she Demi Zane is saying. I'm probably butchering your name. I'm probably butchering her name. It's probably the way she's saying it that's making me think of the kind of girl she's talking about.
Thing if you're from East London, same thing if you're from North London, same thing if you're from certain parts of West London. We're going to put you in your place.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's what she's basically saying. Like, them girls out there straight masculine. A lot of them, not all of them, and not all of them. Listen, I've been to clubs down there, and girls will get up to man and want to try and back out blades and what, bruv, what blood, and like, to me that is just, that's something else.
We're not having it. But the UK isn't made up of London alone. And not all black people are monolith. You get some people that are more timid, more quiet, some people that are more mouthy. That's me.
Yeah, she's definitely she's definitely one of the mouthy ones that will have their man don't want to go home. You know what I'm saying? Have the man home like, I can't be asked to go home to that right now. I can just, you know what I'm saying? She's the kind of girl that will have a man that, for him to be happy with her, sorry Zane, it would need a side piece, you know what I mean, to take that stress off him before he goes home, because he knows when he goes home, that means gonna go Zane on him.
Some people that don't like confrontation, some people that do like confrontation. So to make that assessment that all British black women take BS from all British black men is a reach. Our approach to this particular podcast, though,
I think 99.9999999% of the black females in the UK don't tolerate nothing from no man. When I say they don't tolerate nothing from no man at all. None at all. No, there's no negotiation.
was more of, oh, we already knew that them lot were problematic and we don't follow them. There were still some black women that do follow and do engage with their content, probably because they only ever saw their TikTok videos where it was all light banter, but never actually watched their YouTube or listened to their podcast or subscribed to their Patreon. The American girls wanted to know, okay, if the black British men are not dating you lot, then who are you dating? This is what she had to say.
Okay, quickly before I go out, the girlies want to know if black British women are not dating black British men. Who are they dating? The answer is, we're dating white guys. Both my ex-boyfriends in the UK were white. I'll tell you the type of white, like liberal white men. Like if you watch Love is Blind UK, Benaya, I was dating Benayas, and dating Benayas was great. They treat you very well compared to...
And all that should count though. And all that should count. You meet a man, doesn't matter if he's pink, black, blue, orange, grey, and he treats you well and he makes you happy. That's all that should matter, right? The sooner you stop, you take away, oh, I dated the black guy and it wasn't all that, and I dated the blue guy. Just say, look, I dated this guy, wasn't all that, I dated this guy. You know what I mean?
My other option, which was not dating at all, because the black men in my circles weren't checking for me. They were very much exclusively only dating white women, and they let me know. And to the black men that I...
There's a different side to most of it, because I hate using the the black and white and Asian and Chinese thing. I hate using that, but I do find with me personally anyway, where I am in life right now, right, I do realize it's not so much the color of someone. I think it's the how would I put it, it's their upbringing. You know, it's their upbringing. I think a lot of females, especially in this country, Their parents hasn't raised them in a sense and how to be a husband or to be a good partner, you know, or to even be a mum, and you know, and to do motherly duties. And when you say that, a lot of women will get offense, like, oh yeah, so you want a woman that stays in the house and don't do nothing, and you're intimidated of an independent woman. And nah, it's not that I'm intimidated of an independent woman. I want to be the man in the house, you know what I mean? And I keep saying my grandmother raised me, so the old tradition stuff that I seen is way different to what it's like now. Like big massive difference, you know what I mean? So that's what it is at the minute.
Did they? Some of them had internalized racism. So there was things about my blackness they didn't like. So, for example, I'm not seen as attractive in the UK. Yeah, I'm not. I mean, I'm all right, but I led with my personality more because I just didn't think I had the looks, and it was black men telling me that I didn't have the looks. Like some of the worst names I've ever been called ever in my life have been
Yeah, you ain't got the looks though. So I would agree. I'd have to agree. I'd agree.
from black British men.
You ain't got the looks. You look like you got no shape, no figure. You know what I mean? You probably turn around, boom, straight iron board. I ain't being rude. It's. I'm just saying it as it is. You know what I mean? So I bet if you ask any other woman that's not black, who got a physique like you, looks like you, but they're white or Chinese or Asian, they'll give you the same exact same thing. But then it is what it is. I bet Dammy Zayn don't get guys telling her she's not all that and all that. She might get the one and odd ones, because guess what? Not everyone's taste. But she's attractive. You're not. Maybe you're aiming way too high as well.
So I remember I dated a black guy and he wouldn't like it if I took off my wigs at night to sleep. He wanted me to sleep.
Well, that guy that you're describing, he's totally opposite for me. I hate wigs. I hate wigs with a passion. I just don't get it. I would rather a woman just ball her head off and go bald and just, you know what I mean, line up the edges or something. I hate horse and donkey hair and plastic. I just hate all of that stuff. I hate all of that stuff. And this is why I say Miss Zayn over here, I'd give her and if you guys watch my videos, you'll see I've never gave a woman an 8 or a 9. But Miss Zayn over here looks so natural to me. You know? She looks like I don't know, like how my grandmother and the old relatives would. She looks like she's still using the hot comb. You know, the hot comb looks like she's still it looks like she's still using that comb. You know what I'm saying? So I like that look. Your look, no. Probably rate you a 4 or a 5. You know what I mean?
With my wig on because he didn't like my 4C hair. And I would date like white guys, like liberal white guys that, you know, at times would, when I'm too tired, would take my wig off for me and put it on a wig stand and brush it out. So, yeah, I think that black British women have decided to just go where we're wanted and where we're adored. And if that's white men, it's white men. And love is love and be happy.
I agree with that. Love is love and be happy.
But yeah, I noticed, and we kind of all noticed that, like, a lot of black men in the UK have a preference, and it's not us.
I can speak for myself. I can't speak for all black men. My preference has always just been peace, calm. If you can bring peace and calm into my life, you could come from Mars. Yeah, you could be a UFO. You know, you could be one of them blue women off planet Dot. I don't care. If you bring calm and peace into my life, yeah, that's it. It's as simple as that.
Now, respect to London, and I've spoke about this on my TikTok. Respect to her for sharing her experience. But when she said we, I was like, why am I in this? Because that's not my experience. And I'm getting a bit annoyed about this now.
Yeah, that's not your experience. Why? Because you've got that look that she thinks she's got. So you know what I mean? I don't even know if you're single, but you shouldn't be single anyway. Nah.
Narrative, because it comes across as though we're all suffering over here. I mean, don't get me wrong, the dating scene is the ghetto, but I don't think that's because British black men are not dating British black women. I think that's just because of people's mindsets around dating nowadays. It's important for me to explain that I'm from London and I've lived in London for the majority of my life. I spent about 7 years in a predominantly white area towards the end of my teenage years. But when it was time to get my degree, I made sure that I went to a university that was predominantly black because, I'm very, very African. I might have been born in the UK, but I'm very, very African. And so, like, for me personally, I've only ever had black guys showing interest in me. I cannot recall a time in my life where non-black men were checking for me. It's only ever been black men.
They're probably intimidated. That's what it is. Because I you know what I mean. I spoke about something like this before to some of the white guys I talked to in Birmingham, right? And they find to approach black women intimidated, even though they do say they will reach out to black women online, you know, on the internet, but face to face, they find black women very intimidating.
Only ever dated black men. And I'm not saying it to brag. I'm saying it because that's my lived experience. And it's also the lived experience of all of the black women in my life, from friends to family.
I've dated, if I put the race, I've dated Chinese, Indian, African, and Jamaican. Even though I hate doing the black English and Jamaican and African, because I think we all come from the same place. It's just the boat decided to drop us all off, our ancestors off at different spots, but we all originally came from the same place. You know what I mean? So I hate saying black Jamaican, black American, or whatever else and all of that. But I've probably dated every race there is. And on that note, I can actually say, I think the two calmest race I've dated was a Chinese woman and a white woman. And what I mean by calm, I mean it doesn't matter what I was going through at that time, how my mood would take me if I had a bad day. Nothing would phase them, in the sense where, and it's weird because never had one argument. If I can think, relationships we're talking about, we never had one argument. Yeah, them relationship ended because I was just being a man. You know what I mean by that. I ain't gotta get too much into it, but you know, but a man likes to venture around. You know it goes about, and that's my experience. You know, and that's just my personal experience. See, I don't want to talk about my baby mum, so that one's a bit sticky. But I've had some stories dating inside my own race. Nightmare stories. I've been set up. I've had girls send men to my house with guns and try to set. I've had some crazy experience. You know what I'm saying? Crazy experience, but it is what it is.
Family to colleagues, that is our lived experience. And I don't want to minimize or reject other black women's experiences, because I'm very aware that for some women, they haven't dated black men, or they've liked black men, but those black men didn't like them back. And so now they feel disenfranchised, or they've had really bad dating experiences with black men and they've decided, you know what, this is
They've had really bad dating experience with a shit man. That's all it is. Because I guarantee for every one of those black guys that she had a bad experience with, she could have found 10 white guys that would have gave her the same bad experience. So I think it's just, you know,
I'm going to go somewhere else. if you live in London, where most of the black community live, and you mix with other black people and you're in predominantly black spaces, you will probably be dating a black person. Yes, within that, there are some black men and some black women with internalized racism and have deep hatred for the opposite sex within their demographic, and therefore they won't touch each other with a barge pole. But that's not the majority. Most of the big cities in the UK tend to have a bigger population of people of colour, and therefore they have a different experience when it comes to this dating thing. There is a difference between the experience of a black girl in London versus a black girl in the more remote cities. I think in the UK it's more about aesthetic as opposed to your race. If you fit the UK black girl aesthetic, it's more likely than not that you've had no problems attracting British black men. That aesthetic is generally the aesthetic that black guys go for. You know, a certain makeup look, a certain dress sense. That's not really Afrocentric. But then at the same time, there's definitely...
I'm the opposite in that. I hate makeup. I hate women that wears makeup. I hate fake hair. Yeah. The only thing I'm okay with is the nails and the lipstick, but the fake hair and all the makeup is just too much. I don't think black women need makeup. I personally don't. I think when they put the makeup on, it makes them look very dead, like a ghost, like someone in a casket. That's my personal opinion.
Definitely some guys who prefer the Afrocentric look. So for example, the guys that refer to women as empress.
Have you guys ever seen a black woman walking down the road with no makeup on? Ugh. It's something else. It's something else to see. You know what I mean? I find they look like gods. They look like female gods. Soon as they put the makeup on, they look like a dead. I don't know. It just looks. It just. I don't know. It just.
More time they go for the women that have their afro, that have their natural hair, that wear braids, that wear locks.
Yeah.
Some black men are hell bent on dating only black women and will actually judge you if you've dated a white guy before. Like I've been on first dates. I've spoken to guys who have asked me if I've ever dated a white guy and have categorically told me that if I had, they would look at me sideways.
Yeah, because they're still living in that slavery mindset. They're the ones carrying racism. They're still carrying that slavery and that mindset with them. You know, I am not one of those. You know what I mean? I've had people tell me, oh, nice, good to know your past. Yeah, maybe it's good to know your past, but you leave your past there, right? You move forward. So those kind of guys that tell a woman, if you've ever dated a white guy, oh, I'd stay away from you, or nah, that's a red flag. You need to run a mile. You need to run a mile. That man is coming with beer trauma. Beer trauma. He needs to find himself before he finds a woman.
They exist. You know what shocks me a lot about London's video? She said that she wasn't attractive in the UK. I'm struggling to accept that, unless she really wasn't around black people like that, because London is Caribbean. I'm African. I remember the days when being African wasn't cool and none of the black guys were checking for African girls. They all wanted Caribbean girls.
Facts, I remember that.
Being African wasn't cool up until maybe like 2008, 2009, 2010. Before that, if you was African, forget black men looking for you.
Then again, I wouldn't say, because even going way back to the, the 90s, 93, 94, 5s, if you was an African but you had that look, no one care where you come from. Again, no one would care. And I'm talking from a man point of view, you know what I mean, that's surrounded by a lot of guys sometimes. And if I sit down and ask 30 of my male friends back then, would you care? They wouldn't care. They wouldn't care. If a woman looked good, majority of the men don't care. And I think a lot of men now move on with that. A lot of men just look and think, oh, yo, she's attractive. They don't, oh, like, yo, look at that thing, look at the thing ends, or that thing's got big ends, big back off. You don't hear them say, yo, look at that white thing, or yo, look at that Asian thing, or they're just multi-man, or just, yeah, you look at that thing over there with that big back up. So a lot of black men right now is separating this black men that I'm dealing with. I'm not talking for all black men. I'm talking for the black males around me that I go out with sometimes, and not all of them. So I'm not speaking for all of them, because not all of them's the same. But majority of the ones I might go out of town in Birmingham, or leave Birmingham with, or hit Broad Street with, or something. Them guys, they don't see color no more. All they see is something that, yo, she looks good, yo. That, look at the back off gym thing. I think it's very hard, and it seems like black women just cannot. A lot of black women cannot just leave that and just say, you know what? Let me try taking away this race and color thing, and putting myself in a box, and seeing if there's a man that God put out there for me, and I'll accept him as he is. I won't look down at him because of his skin color, and I won't not give him a chance because of his skin color. Because when you do that to me, you're just sounding like the KKK. You know, you're sounding like the KKK and the racist people that we hate so much. So I always find when I hear black guys and black women speak in a certain manner, they sound more racist than the racist white people. So I just think us as a people, we need to figure out how to leave that crap. Just leave it. We're the only one bringing it. We're the only one bringing it all the time. I don't see why we can't just leave things and just carry on with life. I don't want to raise my daughter in a world where she turns on the internet and there's loads of black people putting negative stuff online about other race. You know what I mean? I want her to have, you know, when a kid born, a kid is. You ever seen kids when they just go to the nursery and you throw them in a room with they don't see skin color, they don't see nothing, they don't see none of that. If the world was like that, it'll be a better place. But unfortunately, the world's not like that. Your skin color or your race is seen first, and you get judged by that, which I think sucks.
More time they were looking for the Caribbean black girls because they had more coolie hair, looser hair textures. Their skin tone wasn't quite the same. And there was this perception that their parents weren't as strict as African parents. So you could probably get your way more with a Caribbean girl than you would with an African girl. That was the mindset back in the day when I was growing up. But that all changed. And that has been changing since the early 2000s. So I'm not saying that she's not telling the truth. I'm just saying that in my lived experience, women like London had their pick, whereas women like me didn't. With that still being said, I appeal more to black men. When people talk about this, they talk about it through the lens of celebrities, because when you look at black footballers or actors or musicians, they tend to be with white partners if they're in the industry, and if it's not a white person, it might be a racially ambiguous person, apart from Saka, because Saka's got a dark skinned girlfriend and I love that for him. But yeah, generally
she's light skinned, but yeah, she's not dark skinned.
Speaking, black guys in the limelight in the industry are definitely dating outside of the black race. But we common folk, that is not our reality for the most part. It would seem that there's a light on British blackness right now. It started with the EDL riots, and then now with this whole podcast moving mad in America, we seem to have the spotlight on us. Americans want to know what is going on with those British black people. How can we relate to them? Is racism similar over there? Do they deal with racism like we do? What's the dating scene saying? What is going on? Are there British black men that date British black women? Yes. Are there British black men that don't date British black women? Yes. Of course, there are a lot of black girls that are dating white men, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's a bit of everything here. Long of the short, I think there's more nuance to this conversation because we're not all...
The easiest answer for that is times change. You know, people change with the times. You know, people have to change with the times. You know, us as black people will always say, I can't believe these white people are still bringing racism and calling us racist names, but yet still we go on the internet, and what do? We sound like racists. You know, we sound just as bad. Sometimes we sound worse than they do. Like, it's ridiculous.
Or monolith. We're not all the same. I just think we need to be a bit more careful as British black women when we're talking about our experiences here.
We need to be more careful as people in general. We need to be more careful as people in general of other people's feelings. That's just how it should be, you know.
generalize. People outside of the UK start thinking it's the same for everyone, and that's not a true representation of what's really going on here. I haven't even begun to scratch the surface, but I'll probably come back to this topic another time. At this point, my mouth is dry.
There you go. I'll leave her name on the screen, people, so you guys can go check her out. I actually enjoyed that video. There's a few things that I wanted to touch on, but I don't think as a man I've got a right to touch on it. I don't like commenting on things where as a man I shouldn't really be able to comment about as a man, so I didn't really touch on everything. I have my own thoughts, but I can't think like a woman, so I can't do that. I'm gonna try and get a female, and I'm still waiting for a damsel in distress. If you're out there, if you're watching this video, I'm still waiting on you, because there's the next part to this that I actually, this is the first video that I've seen that I was gonna check out. So people, let me know what you guys think of this. I personally think people need to just drop the labels, the skin thing, the color thing, and just look at people as people. I think the world would be a better place. That's never gonna happen, but hey, it is what it is. So people, thanks for watching. If you like the video, hit the thumbs up button. If you don't, bash the thumbs down button. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button and press the notification bell so you get notified when I drop another video or when I go live. And as usual, people, God bless. Good night.